Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at noon.
I'm meteorologist Julie Broughton. We started the day with record cold. How long this winter blast sticks around? Tylisa.
Coming up, passengers slowly feeling that pressure as the board behind me continues to change, with today ramping up to 6% of flight reductions.
All of us woke up to cold weather today. Meteorologist Julie Broughton is here. Julie, cold temperatures settled in across the area to start the day. What can we expect as we move through the afternoon?
Emily, it will stay uncomfortable this afternoon, still running about 20 degrees cooler than normal, only getting into the 50s. A lot of us set or tied new records this morning. In Orlando, we were at 36 degrees. Daytona Beach, you tied your record at 35. Sanford, 36 degrees with a new record. And Melbourne also setting a new record with 37 degrees. Here is our Light Orlando delivering hope together camera, looking out there toward the airport where Tylisa is, seeing clear skies. 51 degrees right now with winds coming in out of the north, and these strong winds coming in from the north and northwest, at times gusting up to around 35 miles per hour in Cape Canaveral. That is what is really making it feel uncomfortable outside today. We won't get a whole lot warmer than we are right now. So for your Veterans Day, we are talking about a high of 57 degrees. We have one more cold night ahead. We'll break that down and tell you when we'll be back in the 80s, Emily.
All right, Julie, thank you. Now, like Julie just said, it was a cold morning for everyone, especially for kids heading into school. Marion County took action to keep kids safe and warm. Buses were warmed up for students and supplies were ready for kids to beat the cold. Our team coverage starts with Mark Lehman, who spoke with district officials about their preparations.
With the cold weather, the Marion County School District took a number of steps to make sure students stayed safe. That included here at the school bus depot in Ocala. Workers showed up extra early to make sure there were no problems with the school buses. And the important thing was to keep students warm both on the way to school and in the classroom. Now, the last time Marion County had weather this cold was in January when we saw students bundled up while waiting to catch the bus. That's what the school district urged everyone to do this morning because those feels-like temps were around the mid-20s. With workers arriving early to make sure buses were up and running with heat, Marion County Schools also said HVAC systems were running on campuses overnight, so buildings were heated. The spokesman for the district wasn't able to meet in person, but I spoke with him by Zoom yesterday. He says a lot of people may have been caught off guard with this cold weather happening about 6 weeks before the start of winter.
Maybe we're taking those precautions earlier than usual, but that's okay. Our community will jump into action, and we'll have some students who unfortunately will show up without appropriate clothing, but we've got supplies to help those students out and keep them warm.
And while there was a freeze warning until 8 this morning, the temp rose pretty quickly after that. The high in Ocala is 56 degrees. But again, out here during the early morning hours, it was about 31, 32 degrees with those feels-like temps. Much colder, around 22 degrees. Now, there is also a Veterans Day ceremony that was happening in Ocala today with about 2,000 students, and that moved forward as planned despite the chilly temperatures. For now, reporting in Marion County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
I'm Stephanie Rodriguez reporting from Volusia County. Warming centers are opening up all around Central Florida, including here in Volusia County. The Bridge has opened its doors Monday night and it will also open on Tuesday night for anyone looking to escape the frigid temperatures. The Bridge, run by the Neighborhood Center of West Volusia, is a City of DeLand initiative that turns into an emergency weather shelter for West Volusia County. This community room transforms, adding 30 to 35 beds to get people out of the cold. Those who stay get a snack during the evening and then lunch the next day. The shelter does rely on help from the community, so they're always looking for donations to help people, especially during inclement weather.
We're always looking for additional blankets, pillows, jackets, sleeping bags for those that choose not to come in, but also for those nights that we don't open, but it's on that borderline. Yeah, that's a huge way that we can help in this particular situation, as well as food donations, because that's an extra 30 to 35, maybe even 40 mouths that we need to feed during this time.
Anyone in need can spend the night, whether you don't have stable housing or enough heat to keep you warm at home. Doors open at 6:30 Tuesday night, and people can stay again overnight and until lunch service is over on Wednesday. Reporting in DeLand, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Stephanie, thank you. President Donald Trump honoring all the soldiers who have given their lives in service to our country at Arlington National Cemetery this Veterans Day.
Time!
The president laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. The wreath laying honors all the soldiers who have died in service to the U.S. and a reminder to never forget those who have given their lives. The president was joined by Vice President J.D. Vance. And here in Central Florida, events have been happening all morning to honor the fallen. This is video from an event that started at 11 a.m. in Mount Dora. It was their annual Salute to Service celebration. The city says the event may be small, but it's a meaningful way to show veterans and their families appreciation. Other events happening in Sanford, Marion County, and Orlando, keeping remembrance of all of those who have served our great nation. Turning now to a live look in Washington, D.C., where the U.S. House of Representatives is meeting for the first time in weeks. There are now new hopes for an end to the government shutdown after the Senate voted to pass a spending bill last night. 8 Senate Democrats went against their party's leadership to help give the final approval to the bill. The government would stay funded through the end of January, and shutdown-related layoffs would be reversed under the legislation. The bill does not include health care, something Democrats have demanded. The next vote will be in the House, where Democrats are also against it, but don't have the votes to stop it.
We're not going to support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people.
I think it's a lesson for the Democrats. You can't hold the American people hostage for things that are unrelated to government funding.
GOP leaders say they're hopeful the deal could pass in the House as soon as tomorrow. Now, even with an end to the shutdown inching closer, flights are still being reduced. Here's a live look at an international airport. Air traffic reductions jumped to 6% today, putting a strain on travel plans. That's where we find News 6's Tylisa Hampton. She joins us live from the airport. She's been tracking those delays for us and the cancellations. Tylisa, are things pretty busy out there?
So right now, not as busy as we have seen it before. However, that could all change by later today. So just take a look up on the board behind me. Slowly, since we've been here, we've been seeing just bit by bit more red on that board for delays or cancellations. So FlightAware, even those numbers have changed since 11 o'clock. So around 11, there was around 30 delays. However, I just checked a moment ago. Now that number has jumped to around 40, and there's 42 cancellations so far at the airport, and that's just for today. Now, American Airlines, they have put out a recent statement. They say per FAA requirement, they have reduced flight schedule by 6% at 40 airports for Tuesday, amounting to about 200 canceled flights, and that's nationwide. Now, that's the same amount of cancellations Delta Airlines has also put out in a recent statement. Again, for our viewers watching, this FAA mandate to reduce the flights is due to the ongoing government shutdown and the nationwide air traffic control staffing shortages. Now, one woman that we've already spoke to, she says that she owns a photography business in New York. However, her entire team that was trying to get to Orlando, their flights were canceled, and they chose to drive nearly 20 hours to get here. Now, we have spoken to other passengers since we've been here. They say luckily they have not been impacted, but they hope it does stay that way. I'm in Orlando, reporting for News 6. I'm Tylisa Hampton.
Tylisa, thank you. Well, a record on the Space Coast, the number of flights that have been launched from Brevard County this year, and the mission that set the mark. Plus,
if you've got tools laying all over the garage and you want all of this organized, how about putting up a pegboard or two like we're doing today? I'm Eric Von Anken. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's not that hard. We're getting results at home coming up.
After a record cold this morning, we are only in the 50s right now across much of Central Florida. Coming up, I'll tell you who is under winter weather advisories tonight and when we'll see temperatures rebound.
Julie, thank you. Taking a live look right now at the Orlando International Airport with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6 at noon. We'll be right back.
Introducing the new $25 million Gold Rush Multiplier Scratch-Off from the Florida Lottery.
Today, we're getting results at home in your garage. Alan in East Orange County, he needed some help putting up a pegboard in his garage. News 6's Eric Von Anken shows us how to do it with a $50 drill and a few screws. Sorry.
Alan, hey, great to see you. Thank you for being
Very
here.
nice to meet
This is my
you.
wife, Shu.
Hi, Shu. So nice to meet you as well. Beautiful place here. You want to organize your garage.
Yes, sir. At least put my tools where I can find them again. I find them wherever or not.
Okay, I see the pegboard. So I'm guessing, Alan, you want this?
I would love to have it here.
There.
But this is cinder block. It's not wood.
We're going to get you some results.
I sure hope so. Thank you so much.
So, of course, it doesn't make sense to put a pegboard flat up against the wall because then you couldn't put any hooks through the pegboard. So we brought these furring strips with us, basically pressure-treated pieces of wood. And we're going to stick these strips up against the wall and then attach the pegboard to these. Since this is a concrete block wall, we'll need concrete screws. Some people call these Tapcons. We'll also need a concrete drill bit, but in order to drive the bit through that wall, we got to use what's called a hammer drill. And I know these anchors and furring strips are solid because I can just about hang on it. Now, to attach the pegboard to the furring strips, we're using wood screws, but only 1 inch long because any longer, and they're going to stop when they hit the concrete. All right, Jeff, help me get this up here. So this one came out great, and since Alan has a second one, and since we're here, we're just going to go ahead and throw this one up real quick, too. All right, Jeff, last thing. Hold that for me again. Well, Alan, what do you think?
This is beyond my expectations. I can't wait to get organized.
Glad to hear that.
And
Try
I
it
got
yourself?
some great results. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I love it so
love
much.
the
He did
reaction.
get some great results, but might be a little cold outside if you're thinking about doing some housework, or maybe you would rather do your outside chores.
You
in
know,
the
maybe
cold.
people would like to hang Christmas lights today because it does feel pretty festive out there. But the problem this afternoon is that those winds are still pretty strong for us. That's why it felt so bitterly cold this morning. So we're going to keep it windy throughout the afternoon. Now tonight, as those winds do begin to back off some, we're going to see the potential of a little bit of patchy frost. And then our cold blast isn't going to be too long-lived. We will see temperatures rebounding back into the 80s by the weekend. Here's how we started the day. These are our unofficial lows, and we did set new records across the area, including Orlando and Sanford and Daytona Beach, the mid-30s. Ocala, you started your day at 32 degrees. Now, we're probably not finished with the records yet today. We're likely looking at some new record low highs. Orlando, your forecast high is 57. The record low high is 61 degrees, and most of us will stay in the 50s, so we could see a new round of records by later this afternoon. Here's what it looks like for you right now. So we take a look outside. This is our Launch Credit Union camera, 58 degrees in Cape Canaveral. Look at the winds gusting to around 31 miles per hour. So it really is a very uncomfortable day out there. Right now, you're sitting at 49 in Ocala. Wildwood checking in at 50 degrees. It is 52 in Claremont and 49 in Palm Coast. Here's a look at those winds, just really strong area wide, coming in out of the north, gusting to 18 at Kissimmee and gusting to 24 miles per hour right now in New Smyrna Beach. Because of the low relative humidity, because of the strong winds, some of you do have red flag warnings this afternoon until 4, and that means that any fires that do start could spread quickly. So those are in place for Seminole, Orange, Osceola, and Polk counties. Now, we've seen some frost advisories expanded from Flagler County down through interior Volusia Lake, now including Sumter. So if you live in an area where you have some sensitive vegetation, you might want to go ahead and cover that, because as our winds relax, we could see some of that frost frost forming. I don't think it'll be super widespread, though. And then we do have a freeze warning posted again tonight for Marion County. Now, as we head into the day tomorrow, we're going to begin to see our pattern shifting. So we'll see that flow becoming a little more west to east rather than that big dip in the jet stream. Still below normal tomorrow, but tomorrow will be a transition day for us. High pressure is our dominant weather maker. With high pressure, we typically see subsiding air, tranquil weather. So clouds and rain forecast showing a few clouds here and there, but certainly no rain in the picture to track for us. Now, here's your hour-by-hour forecast.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
Look at this beautiful little guy modeling his winter coat. So this was pinned by Jay Judes. They didn't tell us the dog's name, but the toy's name is Bruno. So by 3 o'clock, 57 degrees, 4 o'clock, 55 degrees. Please go to clickorlando.com/pins. Share your pet photos with us. I'm doing weather again tomorrow morning, so I'll get to use a lot more pet pictures for you. Overnight tonight, one more cold night for us. 42 in Orlando, 37 in Leesburg. Your overnight low in Ocala tonight, going to 30. Taking you through the rest of our Veterans Day, 57 for our high today. Then we go back in the low 70s for our highs tomorrow before heading back into the 80s, Emily, this weekend.
Some good information on the fire warning, Julie, because a lot of people will be tempted to get out there and do a fire pit tonight with it being so cold. So something to keep in mind. Thank you. Well, a record set on the Space Coast last night. Take a look.
And liftoff. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
Coming up, the 94th launch from our Space Coast with another on the horizon. And coming up on News 6 at 6, artificial intelligence is taking over industries across the world, but a local sheriff's office is hoping it can help with safety.
You can't fill all the spots in here. I can't hire people, and there's very little retention. There's an AI company out there. The young man is from Tampa. It's not going to displace anybody's job. I think we should give it a try.
How the Volusia Sheriff's Office is using artificial intelligence to answer certain 911 calls. That's coming up on News 6 at 6 tonight. Here's a live look at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. Beautiful clear skies on a chilly, chilly day. You're watching News 6 at noon. Stick with us. We'll be right back. A big night for Brevard County as SpaceX pulled off a record-breaking launch.
Engines full power and liftoff. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
The Falcon 9 taking nearly 30 more Starlink internet satellites into orbit late last night. The launch was a record-breaking 94th of the year from the Space Coast. Several more launches are planned, including the second launch of Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket. That could happen as soon as tomorrow. And tonight, a chance to win $900 million. That's the amount the Mega Millions jackpot has now reached. That's over $415 million if you take the cash option. Not too shabby. It's now the 8th largest jackpot since the game began. Get your tickets and tune in to News 6 at 11 to see if you've become a millionaire. And be sure to check out our all-new primetime lineup on News 6 tonight. Matt and Ginger have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Go in depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas at 9:30. Then watch the late news, an hour earlier rather. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our streaming app for free. You can search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
We started the day with record cold, and we'll have one more cold night tonight, going down to 30 in Ocala, 42 for your low in Orlando, 48 for the overnight low in Melbourne, 57 for our high today, and then we see temperatures beginning to moderate tomorrow, 70 for our high tomorrow, and then by the weekend we will be back in the low 80s. So just hold on a little bit more if you don't like the cold.
Just hang in there, y'all. Yeah. Okay, switch on over to the News 6 Plus streaming app or click Orlando.com to watch News 6 Extra. Have a great day.